Hmm. No. Okay. Hold on. I'm trying to figure something out here. Okay. Well, whatever. I want to make sure you guys are able to see me. Flashlight. Okay. So hopefully you guys can be able to see me. I done a live video earlier talking about a case that happens to do with one of my friends who I didn't know, who was a internet Vine um, sensation, meme celebrity, if you will. Nothing big, just the internet Vine video things that people do, and they've seemed to blow up on it, and they seem to get a lot of a lot of followers and everything. Hell, it's not even that hot out today. It's not even cold out tonight, but whatever. I'm actually quite burning up, but well, no, not really. I mean, it's like cool. But anyways, nothing about that. But I did a video earlier today. Again, a live stream. Talking about my friend, um, giving my projective expective on 3 points of view and why I think he's innocent in the case that he's currently facing and going through. And the video I talked about how this is a setup and people's modems for setting people up. Because you never know what someone's modems are. You don't know what goes through their minds in the terms of whatever it is that you're doing. And there's an old saying out there, if I can't use you, you're useless. And I really hate that saying because to me it goes to show that you really can't seem to do anything upon yourself to put yourself in a okay position. I don't want to say good, I don't want to say great, I want to say an okay position and looking for handouts. Also in that video, I really gave an example of one of my friends who I did save who was going to get set up. And that is the topic of this here video, setting up people. You never know what someone's interior modems are when you meet someone, and you have to kind of really watch out and look for the signs. Me, I've been through it myself several occasions, and to me, it's either you're looking for a handout or you got someone looking for a damn sugar daddy. And that's just how it really is. And to briefly, really recap on what I talked about earlier in terms of the setting up part, my friend, he comes from this town. He had a rough upbringing. And he was born with a disease to where, where like you're young but you look old type of deal. And he also was born not be able to walk, but his parents spent so much money to get him the surgery he needed in order to do that. And yeah, they did lose their house, they lost their job, and he wanted to try to do something to help him not go into depression and not commit suicide. Because of this, these girls set him up, you know, and a lot of the texts that were shown, me as a graphic designer, I know something when fake when seen it, and text boxes don't have heavy shadows the way they do. They don't. And now his name been dragged through the mud into the dirt as a child predator. And everything there adds up to being a setup, because these girls' modems, with them being the age that they were, now allegedly, you know, they were 14, 17 years old. And I have personally seen what these girls look like. They're not in their teens. They're in their 20s. And also going back is that one of these girls has a reputation for setting up people like that. And their motives was to extort and have money sent to them, you know, by my friend. Now, let me remind you, he blew up on the app of Vine, going through an app called TikTok, and also YouTube. He was close enough to where he was going to receive ads and monetization on everything that he was doing to get paid. And when those girls didn't get exactly what they wanted, they set him up. Which then leads me into prime examples of another friend. You know, he was like, what, 19 going on 20? And now this one girl who was about 14 years old was setting him up. And me, I barely roll with anybody because I'm always by myself. And people talk. And once I heard about what was going to happen, they were going to set him up in the terms of saying, oh, that he raped me and forced him to get him jumped and then get the law. Well, once I found that out, this was my best friend since middle school till now. And we still talk. So I'm not going to let him go down like that. And this took place about several years ago. And once I told him, he didn't really know how to take it. And he went to go confront the person. Well, since their plans were foiled, they tried to get at me, and that didn't happen because I shut that whole situation down quick. Because you got to be careful, again, who you talk to, who you trust, and who you let in. And once he found out for himself, yeah, he was pretty heated about it. I remember his cousin, joined the gang, and he wanted to jump him in it, but he made it seem like they were trying to harass him. And when I first got locked up, that's when I really found about it, because I talked to one of the members who I knew since knee high, and we talked about it. And he let me in. Then once I got out, I hit up my best friend about it. I said, hey, your cousin trying to do this. That's some foul shit. And that was taken care of. It was dealt with right then and there. And his cousin's motive for doing this is because he just wanted him in it because he was in it. And that's not what my friend wanted to do anyways. Going in a bit farther, you do have to be careful again, even when business, especially when there's money involved. I don't want to get too much into one of the cases that I once had, but it's on there on my channel, the in-depth money interview. And my situation that took place with me, the closest people to you are going to be the ones to do you wrong, especially when it comes to family and that's what ended up happening. So I lost a lot of money, but things during investigation I was getting answers to, you know. So my setup was really with money, honestly. The first time I think I was actually, I guess, set up or jumped was like going into my early teens, um, going into, somebody who I trusted, and it ended up leading me to get drunk, you know? Yeah, I fought back, but that made the situation worse, you know? And in most cases, you're going to want to defend yourself, but depending on what environment you're in, whether it's out in the streets or in prison, out in the streets, fighting back with something like that's really going to make the situation worse compared to when you're locked up. It's not going to make the situation worse because it's going to show that you're willing to fight and stand your ground, and people are going to respect that. I remember I shared a story. Well, there was a story I did share, but I didn't really say the modem behind that story was. And compared to, what this modem was, it was out of jealousy. And I don't know what it was to be jealous about me, because at the time I had nothing. I looked like shit, But into one modem that I shared, when I was up in Nashville at the time, my friend got into a situation, and some people came in, they turned off the lights, and I went down in the dark. It was like 3 people against 2, and I stood my ground, because eventually your eyes are going to adjust either to the dark quick, and I always have, my room dark, so my eyes adjusted to darkness. And my friend's motive behind that was for me to really take the fall, and that's what ended up happening, was for me to take the fall. And everyone that was involved in that situation walked out without facing any consequences. I'm the only one who did. Again, I was set up to take the fall and didn't even know it. But, karma is a bitch, and that shit came back around, It's just like, going back again when it comes to family members. A cousin of mine tried to set me up for some shit with her best friend, because me and her best friend at the time were talking. And so, I don't, she tried to set me up to take the fall in order for her to get with another guy. And once I reached out to him, we ended up turning the tables around on them. So, again, you never know really what someone's motives are. You don't never really know. And that's why you really do have to be careful, because you never know exactly what someone's motives could be. And people are going to want to set you up to take the fall. Even if you're in the situation, or if you're somebody outside of the situation that's seen it happen, in the end of it, these people who do that, there's nothing in the end that they get out of it. There's no clout, no fame, no stripes, no reputation, no money in it. In the end, what I do see, what does come out of it for them, is karma. It's a true thing, I'm not a man of God, but in the Bible says what comes around goes around, and I believe in that. And it was always something that happened to them 10 times, worse, or in a worse situation, whatever comes around the corner for them. And usually it ends up them being locked up or beaten half to death. So what goes through someone's mind when doing that, I would never know. I'm not that type of person. But setting up somebody, what do you expect to get out of it? And even going back to the prior discussion that I had today, a lot of the evidence, the facts, again, I didn't have nothing to show it what I was talking, I didn't have anything to show, but I had a lot of knowledge, breaking down things to experiences to a T, the best of my ability, to where, yeah, my friend is innocent. He will get out of this, and I hope he does sue and press charges against those girls, man, because their motive, again, was to get money. There was no money there, so they decided, oh, let's go ahead and set them up. Not to mention lying about their age. They're not young; they're practically in their early 20s. Okay, so they take good care of themselves. And yeah, in most cases, you have some that hit a growth spur like hell. There was this one girl I knew. She was like 15 years old, but you couldn't tell because her growth spur was it just hit her so much that you could have swore up and down she was 20 years old. And built like an Amazon woman, But, again, you do have to be eventually careful, especially outside in terms of, media, because it gets a lot of people caught up in so much that you're going to either, when it comes to sensations, honestly, it's going to get you so caught up that it's going to ruin you, and you might not even come back from it. You may not ever, you're probably not. I remember seeing, there's always 2, maybe 3 different circles of people, of friends who who you hang out with. And most of them may not like each other. And you're always going to see, well, I don't know about everyone, I can speak for myself, that, I always saw that they always wanted to set them up. So, again, you gotta watch out for these, I would say watch out. I think you'd have to go through it to really recognize the signs before it happens. And some people do have to learn the hard way. I had an ex-best friend that tried to set me up because he wasn't going nowhere with his music like I was, and he wanted to rat me out. The shit didn't work because it fell back up on him. And his motivation, his motive for that was to get me out the picture so he can do something. Well, there's other things beyond that why it didn't work out, but, again, I already broke so much of that down in a long-ass video, but, more things that came from it that I do have in the chamber just in case shit stirs up again. But, again, you have to have experience, went through it, seen it firsthand in order to recognize the signs for people that want to set you up. And the stories that are shared, are just really prime examples of what could happen. This has been on my mind all day, all because of what happened, the case what my friend is in, and it's been really weighing down. I'm like, wow, because it's really different because you're like, there's different feelings that go through somebody, regardless if you're in a situation, you're seeing it unfold, or you're the outsider looking in and you find out about it, and it's somebody that's close to you and you're like, wow. So you want to look in as much into it as possible, depending on what it is. And the only thing I can really say is, again, what I said earlier is, I I just have to wait for an updated video. Or just an update in general. You know, investigations do take time. 6 months to a year at the least. And again, I know for certain, for a fact, he's innocent. So, you know, just the best advice that I can give, be careful, but I don't want to say be careful because you never know when something's going to happen, regardless. And you don't know exactly what the outcome is. You know, you may come out of it okay, you may not come out of it. But yeah, to me, the endless, those girls' motivations to set up my friend the way they did, it had something, and it always has something, you know, if any situation does have something to do with money, top priority. You know, we need money to get around, we need money to survive in this world. And their top priority, their motive, was to get money from him because he was getting in several types of payments, you know, working out a substitute teacher part-time, working out a factory job another, and also getting $500 in every month from SSI. And plus, he was almost close to getting ads with monetization for his videos. You know, so he could get himself, honestly, into a better, more position, not for him, but also for his family because of what they have went through. And now those girls have completely ruined him, ruined his life because of that shit. So that's why you gotta be careful, man, when, you know, with whatever it is that you doing out there in life, because people are gonna have bad motives that are gonna motivate them to say, man, you know, I really need to set this guy up. Let's get him out, man, so we can get something out of it. But going back again, they don't really get nothing out of it but bad karma that comes back on them in the worst ways possible. So, yeah, you know, that's my video again for today. I didn't think I would be doing 2 videos, but you know I am. I did. And the only thing I can do is just wait till I hear something.